what are from a transition standpoint, what are some advices or the biggest challenges that you've seen our brothers and sisters, face, or maybe hurdles face, and how would you, help them overcome those if they wanted to support the
I
content?
think one of the biggest issues that we face in the repatriation process is completely shedding um, the negative energies and traumas that we experience in the West. And I think that that is essential to the process of repatriation because we cannot bring our sickness into a new environment. And so anything that we have in us that has made us pessimistic, that has made us, have these kind of negative undertones, we have to lose those things. We have to be able to understand that in this process, it requires re-education. It requires a sort of detox, if you can, not just a physical detox of toxic foods and waste and all the things that we consume, but also detoxing from the consumption of media that we've had, detoxing from the consumption of the negative even between us. Sometimes as Black people, we have our own rifts and we have our own biases and we have our own traumas that have contributed to mentalities, and we have to shake those things. And I think in coming back, every repatriate needs to take time to completely detox. And that's however you feel you do it best. Everybody's different. We've all got different spiritual practices. We've all got different paths that we take. But however you detox your spirit, as soon as you get here to the ground, you should start doing that. Whether it's yoga or Reiki or, you've got all these different ways, right? Engage in those things wholeheartedly. Take some time out. Don't immediately get to the soil and feel like you have to, you know, send your heart out to the world, right? Get to the soil, take some time to perhaps isolate, take some time to just sit and meditate and spend time releasing all of those negative undertones. And then you'll feel yourself be able to embrace the local culture, traditions, community. You'll be able to learn from a more humble standpoint. You'll be able to offer the best of you to those around you, rather than your negative things. And I think you'll be most productive.
I have to jump on something. I'm actually was my last question, but you mentioned sort of. I think what I'm hearing is that mentally preparing yourself, maybe brain. I don't want to say brainwash, but really work on our mindset. What can I do if I'm saying to myself, okay, in 2 years, I'm preparing myself financially to make that jump in 2 years on a day-to-day basis in terms of routine, in terms of ritual, right? I understand you mentioned everybody's different, but can you share some of the things you think you can think of? I mean, I know the media is really strong at talking all the BS about Africa and all that stuff. So that could be an example. Watch the kind of media. But I'm really wanting you to give us some example, right? Some examples you've seen folks do on the day to day as they're preparing to the repatriation project.
Yeah, so I mean that's a major one is media consumption. Try and go on, if nothing else, intermittent fasts from media, from some of the things that we consume regularly. And not saying that we'll never enjoy those types of media again. Not saying that we'll never embrace things like our cultural music and things that we still have appreciation for, but at times it requires for you to step away from those things. Social media is another one. Go on fasts from social media. Take some time. Literally in the 2 years before I came here, I was almost non-existent on social media. You know, and that was intentional. It was because we didn't want to, number one, have the negative projections of others on the decisions that we were making. Sometimes even that is something that we have to detox from, the so-called advice of friends and families who can be pessimistic or can, you know, doubt your ability to do it. Those things can pose a great trauma on us. We talk to a lot of our members here on the ground, people who have finally made the transition they've been looking for years. And they tell us that some of the biggest challenges to them in making that transition is family members, you know, who made it hard for them, who, you know, were, who felt disappointed that they were leaving, or who felt that, you know, they owed some obligation to stay. And that poses an emotional challenge to us. So all the challenges aren't always financial or physical. A lot of times our emotional state has a lot to do with it. So we don't want to get into a journey like this and it tears us up emotionally. So we have to guard that, you know, quite a bit.
Thanks, man. Appreciate